Jayme.
Okay, well, as people kind of come on, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Jayme Gresbick, and I have 2 degrees in horticulture and have been working here in Hawaii for the past 15 years on Kauai and here on Oahu, working with gardeners and teaching and writing about gardening, and was asked just recently to come on board to use my botanical knowledge to help with those trees that were listed as unknown. And so I do go online to the database, and I use a filter where I get all of the trees that are unknown. I click on them. Right now I'm in Kailua, the area of Kailua on the tree plotter map. And so there were just a few trees that were a little harder for me to research. And I thought it would be fun to share with you folks those trees and a little bit about those trees. So today I would love to take just 30 minutes. I only have a few slides and then really leave some time that you may have for questions. Just want to make sure that this is being streamed okay. Can you hear me? And also, is there any lag that you can tell? Awesome. Okay. So let's see. I just see 2 people, Morgan, or 3 people, Morgan. So my screen may not show everyone. So hopefully some more will show up. But again, as I'm talking, I wouldn't mind if anyone had any questions, if they just kind of spoke up and let me know those questions, okay?
Yeah, actually, Jayme, since you're new, and would you kindly please introduce yourself and tell me which group you're in, so Jayme know what area you are working in when you guys send things in, so you know where's it from?
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. Oh, I can't.
Can you hear me?
There.
Yes, Larry.
Okay, I'm Larry Lau. I live in Manoa, and I was in the Manoa group, and then we went on to Makiki, and then COVID stopped us. My background is I have an interest in plants. Particularly, I wanted to learn about trees and made some friends doing the tree work.
Don't let him fool you. He's a great photographer too. We got a lot of pictures from Larry.
Awesome, Larry. Thank you so much. What a great program to get to know trees and to get to know people. Thank you.
Oh, Jayme, I guess I should introduce myself. I am known to only one. Lawrence and I met briefly at a class I think we were taking. And of course, I know Kathleen pretty well. I don't know Smart Tree specific, I don't think.
You don't want to know him anyway, Lot.
Oh, that one.
Oh, yeah, there's another one. Oh, I'm Morgan Lot. I met you a long time ago. But the other one, be careful with that one.
I would say, you know, to that way, I would say, au contraire. You and I, you just gave me a lesson on transplantation of lantana and combing out bound roots.
Yes.
That was very beneficial.
I hope that one survived. We'll see.
Kathleen
has a better. Her wells are much better.
But you know, you did notice that the ANA nails people are taking personal responsibility. Every time I pass them on a Tuesday, I try to compliment them because they're watering the tree, and I think they're weeding. They're weeding the lantana. So they're supplementing what you're doing by attention in between.
Thank
And
you.
I can't say enough about Kathleen. I mean, I won't even start.
All right, Kathleen, your turn with that introduction.
Audio.
You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm in the Kaimaki group, and I don't know I'm a graphic designer. I've been helping with some of the tree stuff, and I'm taking care of some tree wells with Lot. Lot's our leader. He's a great leader. So I'm also helping with the tree giveaway. So I'm trying to grow trees to give away. I'm growing chili pepper and koa, and I haven't been successful. I was trying to grow pua keni. None of them sprouted, so that's not successful. And I'm growing some hibiscus. So, and I'm trying to grow crown flower, but I haven't been very successful. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Thanks, Kathleen. Hi, Katie.
Oh, hi. I'm Katie. I live in Manoa. I like plants and trees. I'm actually in Nebraska right now, so it's a little later here.
Dark. Sorry.
That's why it's dark outside. But anyway, just want to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Before I forget this idea, you know, Dan has given me some tags for the tulip wood along the Mackay side of Waialae. And Kathleen, I haven't yet gotten to your two, the tulip woods, but they are the only ones left. Anyway, my point is, for Smart Trees Pacific, or somebody, and it goes along with what Jayme's going to be talking about, because if you folks know of uncommon trees that are along our streets, hey, enlist the citizen foresters to put tags up on those unknown trees to get people interested. And the point is that you control that process by deciding to designate which are going to be going to keep being unknown. You know, there are unknowns that are hazardous or invasive, as well as unknowns that are native that you want to encourage. Just an idea.
I like that idea. I love trees that are labeled. I love any kind of collection that are labeled. So is that what you mean, like a sign, a label?
Yes, what I have on the tulip woods along Waialae are signs that have been designed by Kathleen, and poked holes on the corners, tied them around the trunks at about eye level, introducing tulip wood to passersby.
Cool.
And it's trying to generate interest in the trees and generate interest in volunteering to help the trees, I think. Huh, Kathleen? Audio.
You're mute.
I never learn. There hasn't been that much any response so for the phone call, but I think people have been reading it.
That's awesome. So we have a Sharon Saudi that joined us.
Saudi is the last name. I haven't been able to actively participate yet, but I'm interested and thought I'd take this opportunity to listen in. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Do you want to tell us anything about yourself, if you have an interest in trees or plants or?
Real briefly, I formerly worked with the Natural Resources Conservation Service but as my final stint of that, I got to spend 3 years in our field office located in Pohnpei, Micronesia. And you can't help but just be totally enamored with trees. They're enormous, they're magnificent, and it gave me a renewed respect. And now being at least partially retired, I hope to spend more time learning about trees in this area. So thank you. Look forward to meeting you all, I hope.
Yes.
Sharon, do you play ukulele?
I do. Lot, how are you? It's been years. What a hoot. We'll connect later. Excuse me.
How about that?
Get back on topic.
Okay, Sharon Snyder, would you please tell us who you are and which group you're in?
My name is Sharon Sadi.
No.
I am not formally in a group yet.
No. We have two Sharons.
Oh, I'm sorry. So sorry. Another Sharon.
Yeah. Thank you, Sharon. So yeah. Maybe there's something wrong with Sharon's sound system. So meanwhile, may I ask the person on the phone, please introduce yourself?
Okay, hold on.
Oh, Sharon's back.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, my AirPod.
Oh. I hope your AirPod is working. All right. If not, I'll do my best, Sharon. Sharon's our fearless leader for the Tree Kaimaki, and she's also the head of Envision Kaimaki, and she's also the board of the neighborhood board chair for Kaimaki. I'm sure many of you know her. She has been leading the effort to put more trees in Kaimaki for the past 2.5, 3 years. So we are very fortunate to have Sharon with us. And she also a trained citizen forester. And it's great to have you, Sharon. And if your AirPod works again, please introduce yourself. The one person on the phone, I don't know who you are. Can you please introduce yourself? Okay. I don't know who that is. So, Jayme, since we have a shortened time, would you please get started? Oh, it's Sharon. Okay, it's Sharon.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead, Jayme.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and get started. I think all of you, I think Morgan can kind of help me to mute your microphone. And then again, if you have any questions as we go forward, we're a small group tonight, and I'm happy to be here with you and share anything that I can with you that you have questions on. Again, I have just a few slides, so we're not talking too much time tonight. We're already at about 5:20 our time and later on Katie's side. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I will share my screen. There we go. All right. Again, I'm just going on to TreePlotter, and I'm just looking through all of the common name under the common name unknown. I just wanted to give you to kind of recap what you had learned in your training. And these are some of the words that and some of the characteristics that I'll be talking about tonight as I go through some of the trees. So of course, the plant names. I'm passionate about genus and species. As a horticulturist, that is the language of botany throughout the world. No matter where you are, you're speaking the same language, which is really cool to me. So I will be talking genus and species, but also common name, which is really fun when it comes to Hawaii, because our common names do span across many different cultures. And so we have lots of different common names, but I'll go through a few of them. And like what we call local names. And our observational skills that you kind of went through in your training, the leaves, the bark, the tree crown, and other tree characteristics that I see when I look at the tree. Okay. Just a overview, of that scientific name, the genus being Pandanus, and the species being Tectorius, common name or local name Hala. And then you can see some of the different types of the different names that we use down there. Sometimes called pineapple tree by some people that don't know that pineapples don't grow on trees. Lots of different words, I guess terms would be the better word, that we use to describe leaf shape and morphology. So you have the types of veins being parallel or netted, and you have the leaf shapes being like palmate or actually spear shaped, heart shaped, round, needle-like. The arrangement is usually very important in how to really narrow down the genus of the tree we're looking at. Also, whether the leaves actually have a serrated or smooth edge or actually a toothed edge. Okay, so all of these terms I do have an eye for. A lot of times I'm not really in my mind going through these terms as I'm looking through a tree. In my experience looking and identifying plants, the way that my botanical brain works is that I actually, I get to a family. My botanical eye can actually get to the family first, and then I narrow it down to the genus pretty quickly. And if you can, maybe an example, and a quite large example, family example here in Hawaii is the legume family. So your bean family. And so all of those have this compound leaf, and they also have some type of bean-like pod, and it's a really big family. So as long as I can get to the family, I can get to the genus. And then one of the things I really enjoy is the bark. I actually have a book on bark, and it just makes you realize every single page going through that book and every single page being a different tree, all of the bark is different from tree to tree. And if you start to look at that, you really start to notice some differences. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but just an overview of what you had learned of in your training. And then when I go out to look at trees, many of the Kailua trees did not have, or have not, close to me at least. I'm actually near Kaha Park, if you know that park. So I've been walking my dog and looking at trees, or just going out from here to visit trees, because a lot of them were some of the first trees that were plotted. And so the program was very new from what I understand. And some of the trees don't have pictures at all. So when I look them up, they don't have any pictures for me to reference. And so I'm looking forward to those, Larry, that I can look at from what you have done. It sounds like you're a photographer, and maybe I'll have some really good pictures to go off of. But just as a reminder, some of the things that I do when I get to a tree, some of the leaves are quite high. These are large trees, and it's hard to get a picture, a clear picture of maybe a new bunch of leaves, or maybe even an old bunch of leaves, because because of the height. So I am just trying to do my best to take a picture and then zoom in. So I don't zoom in and take a picture. I actually take a nice quality picture and then zoom in. I do look on the ground to see if there are any leaves that fell on the ground. Even if it's a compound leaf, one leaf can help me narrow it down. And one thing I've done is to actually take the leaves and put them against a solid color, if that's a notebook that I have, or maybe it is a shirt that I have. If it's a solid color, it really helps. And so I pick these leaves up off the ground, and then I put them on something to take a picture. And that helps me when I get home to do a little bit of research. Flowers are a great identification tool. And so if there are any flowers on the ground, or any flowers that you can take a shot of with your camera, that is awesome. Especially any fruits or seed pods. And again, looking down, I know we all look up towards the tree for this identification, but if we become curious and investigators, we'll actually be looking down at the litter underneath the tree for any of the fruit or the seed pods that have fallen. And just holding those in your hand gives me a good reference as to how large the seed or fruit is, and also very good identification tool. Okay, so again, the sun is probably I think everybody's going out between 9 and 11, or somewhere around in the morning there. And I understand the sun is right behind the tree, and the tree is tall. And so I just encourage you to kind of be investigative and look down along the ground at some of the leaf litter. These are all in Kailua except for the last one. So the tree plotter unknown, the unknowns from the tree plotter in Kailua. This was one, this is called Australian cheesewood Victorian box. And I'll go back and forth between my slides here as I go through my presentation, because I want to show you a few references. So let's see. So this one, Victorian box, it's a Pittosporum, the genus Pittosporum. Here in Hawaii, we actually have 5 endemic species of Pittosporum. And I could show you that if I click on this link. And we'll share this this presentation with you if you want to go further. Here we have this website, Native Plants of Hawaii, is a beautiful website, many years in the making. And so if you go to one of the names here, you would be able to see a little bit about that endemic species. Hawaii has the highest number of endemic species in the world. So that makes us really awesome. And if you're curious about some of those, this is a good site to go on. And so 5 different ones here. Here's one with a with a, oops. Just see if I have a picture here. So Pittosporum actually has these beautiful white, perfect flowers, and that does help me to identify this genus. However, it was not in flower when I went to visit this tree. So I do see some chats. I'm gonna try.
Sorry, that was just me. I
Oh,
threw
thank
in
you,
the,
Morgan.
yeah, that link in case anybody wants to follow along.
Thank you, Morgan. Yeah, so if anybody wants that link, it is in the chat box. And Morgan, if you can help me with that chat box, if there's any questions coming in there, I'm happy to go back over to that.
Awesome.
Thank you. So, so that's that website. And then here I can show you, well, let me show you my pictures first. So here, just a little bit about the leaf morphology, you know, alternate, simple. So we're looking at an oblong leaf shape. We're not looking at a heart or a palmate or a pear shape, leaf shape. Green in color. So sometimes you can see green, blue, or silver. And then the fruit, very telling of this genus, an orange or yellow capsule, and fruiting in the fall. And so when I got to this tree, I actually found the litter underneath the tree. I was picking up dry. So here on the left-hand side, if you can see my cursor, this is what I picked up, and this is on my countertop. So I just picked up a few leaves. I see this wavy leaf edge that is known for this genus. Okay, the oblong shape of the leaf. But then I'm finding these treasures underneath the tree. So this is a full seed. And then inside, they actually open up and drop this litter. So right there, I thought, honestly, the first time I went to this tree, there were two barking dogs that actually barked at me and then barked at each other, and almost like they wanted to kill each other. So, and I had my dog with me. And so I am managing, I'm kind of seeing how the volunteers maybe felt at this tree. It was hot, it was sunny. The tree is very tall and I can't get a good picture. And I just wanted to kind of move along so that these dogs would be okay. And so the second time I went is when I found these treasures on the ground. I was just a little flustered at the tree at the first time I went. So just so you know, I'm just getting a good look at how it might feel for you, you know, to mark. I think this one was like, okay, just mark it unknown and let's go. So, but Pittosporum, a beautiful tree, again, with these undulating leaf edges here, little wavy. And then at fall time, you would see the fruits, and springtime, you would see these perfect flowers that would also drop. Okay. Oh, let me show you one more thing that I have linked. So I have Pittosporum linked to our Select Tree website. Select Tree is a fairly new website that's being populated right now out of California. And so they have this great profile of many trees here that are located here in Hawaii. And so you can see the rounded shape of the canopy. You can see the new leaves that come out and the darker leaves that are older. And then many pictures of the flowers and the fruits, and even dried, and even a picture of the bark. So I guess I see this as, you know, someone in your group was knowledgeable to say, oh, you know, I think that's Pittosporum. And then you go to selecttree.calpoly.edu and you maybe put maybe you put in Pittosporum or Victorian box, or whatever the volunteer in your group had suggested, and then you'll actually start seeing pictures and kind of compare and contrast. Oh wow, it really does have those seed pods, or it does have those flowers, or the bark does look like that. So I guess I see this as a tool for our volunteers, for comparing and contrasting. If someone says, I think that's something I've seen before. It also gives a lot of tree characteristics. The fruiting time, the litter underneath the tree, salt spray tolerance. Interesting information about this genus. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next one, the Trema orientalis. We had a few of these in Kaneohe, actually, not in Kailua, Kahului area. So this is gunpowder tree, gunpowder being the common name, and Trema orientalis being the scientific name, said to make good charcoal for gunpowder. Also, fiber for fish nets can be made from the bark. And there were some medicinal uses, mostly gastrointestinal kind of stuff. It is rated as in, and I hope everyone knows this acronym, but it's HPWRA is Hawaii Pacific Weed Risk Assessment. And 10 is weedy and considered to cause significant ecological or economic harm in Hawaii. And so rated pretty high up there on this risk assessment, and found on all 5 major islands. And you can find them at the Hilo airport. It is an unusual kind of stately tree. It is said to resemble an elm, if you can see that with a botanical eye. It does have these alternate, simple, pear-shaped. It is like a bluish green, silver or kind of gray-green leaf, like a leathery leaf. And the bark is quite striking with that, gray to brown and rough. The flowers are not significant, and the fruits are not significant, but you can see them along this leaf here. And then Serotonia siliqua carob tree. I wasn't familiar with this. Has anyone been familiar with the carob tree or seen it in their neighborhoods?
I have not. I've never heard of it either.
Awesome. I think that's awesome because I didn't either. So I really liked this one because it was quite striking. Let me show you pictures first of all. So this is what I found. So these beautiful little flowers, they were about 2.5 to 3 inches long, coming out of the trunk or branches of the tree, directly out of the trunk or branches. And then these wonderful pinnately compound dark green.
I don't see a picture.
Oh, does anybody see the slide with 4 pictures?
I see words, but no pictures.
Huh.
Try clicking it again. Sometimes the transitions come in phases. Okay, there they are.
Oh, great. Did that work for everyone?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, sure. So I did use a tool that maybe we all have around the house, just a small ruler. I did call a friend for this one and And so you can see about 2.5 inches long are the individual leaves. And then we have a pinnately compound leaf that is about 5 inches long. If you can see the ruler underneath that picture. I do have different leaves in the picture bottom left. So the mature leaves are what we're looking at that are dark green. And right under that, I have a new leaf that had just come out. So it's red in color and quite small right now. And then these beautiful flowers, if you can see them, our photographer might be interested to visit this tree. It is on Kailua hillside. So carob tree, the fruit is processed into flour. I learned that is used as a chocolate substitute in candy and baked goods, and even cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. So I thought that was really interesting. Fiber for fish nets can be made from the bark. Native range Mediterranean region and Middle East. The Hawaii Pacific weed risk assessment is 0. So this is a good tree. All right. All right, this one was interesting. I unfortunately don't have a good picture of what I found. What I found was a bush. So this was on, of course, it was Kailua hillside and right by the high school, and at the corner of a residence.
Excuse me, can you make the pictures appear again?
Oh, thank you. I can see it, but you can't. So I'm gonna do what I did before and you tell me if it comes up. Not yet. Let's see.
Got it.
Great.
Oh, well, wait. Now you got a different slide.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe go back one.
Back one and then forward.
You're on neem tree now.
Okay, good. I want to be on neem tree. I just want the next slide to show
Okay.
up.
There you go.
Thanks,
you. Jayme.
Yeah, so what I found here was a bush, and I know neem tree to be this very large tree, towering tree. And I'm looking at the leaves, and I guess I had looked at the leaves before, but anyway, they are quite individual, ovate, glossy. They are serrated. They are tapering at the point. So the tip of the leaf and the base is unequal. Some of them almost looking like a glove. The new leaves are quite different from the mature leaves. So you can see on the top left that they are red in color. When they come out as new leaves, they are quite soft in my hand, and that top left with the immature leaves, and then your mature leaves are less soft. They're quite rigid. So these are compound. This is a compound pinnate leaf and serrated. I guess I was going to ask a question. Does anyone know, we've seen a few new leaves that come out as red in color. Does anyone know why plants do that or trees do that?
Yes, it's a protection against predators or insects. And in Hawaiian, it's called liko, L-I-K-O, which is also used poetically to refer to young people.
I'm going to write that down. Thank you. Well,
I got this from Lauren Gill, who was quite knowledgeable about the forest. I was lucky enough to hike with him many, many years ago.
Oh, awesome. From what I understand as well, the red also helps to protect the new leaves from sun damage.
Okay, that's news to me, but that's good to know.
Yeah, yeah. So plants are just awesome at adapting to their surroundings, and I think that's one thing that we're going to see a lot. If you look out right now, for example, the mangoes look green and red, so you'll see that red color in a lot of our tropical plants. So neem tree is the tree that we get neem oil from. Neem is used as a non-toxic pesticide. So pesticides are rated cautionary to danger on the label. And so if you looked on the side of a neem oil pesticide jar product, it would actually let you know that it was non-toxic by the way it describes if you're spraying it on something edible that you can actually harvest the day of. So on pesticides, you would always find this harvestable date if it's used on anything edible. And so the more toxic pesticides actually ask you to wait 30 days or even for the next round of fruit for some of the pesticides. This one is harvestable the day of, so a very non-toxic pesticide. I like to use neem oil because it can also be used as a fungicide. So it's it can be used as a pesticide and fungicide in my garden. The oil is made from pressed leaves and some fruits. And again, this was hard to identify because it was just a bush. It was just a big old bush. And it is, however, rated with a 10. The seeds do rapidly seed. And so keeping it as a bush and pruning it often is a good practice to keep the flowers and the fruits from being spread by birds, actually. And you can see the primary ID example there if you ever wanted to reference exactly where this tree was. Okay, so then I have the false olive. I wasn't familiar with this one, and I'm so glad to know it now. It is, there are two different olives that you talk about in your beginning training that I saw. So, so that is in that training. These are native to islands in the Indian Ocean. In traditional medicine, the plant has been used to treat high blood pressure, among other things. It's regularly planted on Oahu as a street tree. I did have some pictures come up here, if you can see them.
There's one picture, yeah.
Just one? Okay. Let me go back and forward.
Now we're seeing it.
Oh, great. This one is funny to me, makes me giggle because those leaves at the base of the tree come out different than the mature leaves. If you can use your botanical eye, you'll see that these leaves at the base of the tree in the upper right-hand corner are narrow, spear-shaped. These are juvenile leaves that have red veins and margins. And so on the left, you'll see a large picture of the mature leaves that are opposite, oval shaped, and slightly tubed. So it just makes me giggle. This plant just tries to trick you, I think. But you can see the fruits on these trees that have an olive shape, hence the name. And that is what I found as treasures and leaf litter, or I guess, you know, litter underneath the tree. So this was another very tall, very large tree along Malunui, which is just narrow and hard to stand, you know, for very long right next to the road. And so I was just picking up some things at the base of the tree so that I could look at it later, and came across all of the fruits on the ground. So they do fall fleshy and green. They didn't change color there. So very recognizable by those fruits. And this is our last one. It's Opiuma. And there was a few, I was asked to put this one on just to give you just some pictures of it so that it could be on your radar. And it is at UH, and it's also at Ala Moana Beach Park. This is a high risk, a score of 14. That's getting up there in the numbers for that Hawaii Pacific Weed Risk Assessment. It is native to Mexico and Central America. The wood is used for posts and rough construction, fuel, dyes, and tannins. It was imported to the islands in late 1800s and became naturalized by birds. And that's one way that our, I did change to the next slide where I have some pictures of the Opiuma.
No pictures yet.
Try one more time.
Got it.
Okay, I think I just have to click on it twice. So you can see these leaves, pinnately compound, paired leaflets actually, little yellow or off-white flowers, and then these beans form first green, and then as they start to dry, they turn red and then brown, and then would fall from the tree from there. So I would, let's see. Yeah, so that is the Opiuma, and you do have a link to it here on the select tree to see some more pictures. I like the pictures that they have of the canopy. I love this one because this is, I can look at an Opiuma from, you know, 50 yards away and know that it's just kind of gaggly. It is maybe a rounded top there, but it's a little gaggly rounded top. And then you can see some of the sprouts that come up, maybe some of the leaves there, and a few more pictures of those bean pods. Great picture of the bark here, really rough bark. Yeah, all right, and that is my presentation, and I just want to open it up for any questions you have or any discussion that you may have. We're just at 5:53, so if we want to take just a few more minutes, I welcome you to do that.
Hey, Jayme, it was fun. Oh, sorry, Larry. Go ahead, Larry.
I just said thank you.
Thank you, Larry. It was nice to see you tonight, and I look forward to getting into your area so I can see some of those pictures.
It's definitely, we'll be starting actually up in Makiki soon, Larry, so keep your eye out. Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
thank you, everybody.
I like the way you observe these, the leaves and leaflets. That's fun to follow your lead.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was so much information to get out of the litter on the ground. That kind of motivates me a little bit more to be looking more towards the ground instead of the trees. I've definitely experienced that where branches have been so high that trying to get a picture from a distance is just not doing it.
That's right. Yeah, it's really kind of fun. You know, you're looking up at this tree and you're just daunted by how far away it is. And then you look down at your feet and there's a lot of treasures down there that can tell you about the tree for sure.
Yeah. One thing I really appreciated, Jayme, was your close-up photos of the leaves and then your description of the shape, you know, the arrangement, all those things, because we have seen these charts that give the sample forms and things, but to actually apply that to a specific tree leaves is not something I've practiced, and I'd like to get better at that, especially when there's no flowers around. So,
yeah. Okay.
So,
cool.
And I don't know if it would be worth the effort, but you know, the Citizen Forestry Training gave us that tree identification with the pictures and all that. But if we had the leaves also, that close-ups, that would be great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry. We'll take you up. Hey, listen, I heard you.
What I can speak up for is, again, you know, in the interest of transparency, that passes for keeping people informed these days, the term. Most people would look at a tree and appreciate it, but they don't know the whys and the history. Why did it come here? Why is it invasive? Why is it not welcome? And so I speak up again for some kind of identification, especially on those which have the highest HPWRA ratings, because there are good trees and not so good trees, apparently. I used to think all trees were wonderful, welcome, but you folks know better.
Well, and I would support that, because as an example, I like going to Foster Gardens because so many things are labeled, even if it's just the names or where it comes from. And I'm a lot more frustrated when I go to Lion Arboretum because it seems like so few of the trees are labeled.
So do you need money to finance tags for trees like this? Now, I realize you would need a lot of wire to get around the girth of a tree in order to identify it. I guess the option would be a little sign on the bottom, but that would quickly disappear. Anyway, I speak up for being willing to contribute to that effort.
I like that project idea a lot. It would be really educational for a lot of people.
I have an additional suggestion. Again, I don't know if the tree plotter is the place to do it, but it seems appropriate to me because, as I understand, the tree plotter is publicly available. If a person knew about the tree plotter and say, I used to walk in Almona Park a fair amount with the tree plotter in my hand, sort of learning what tree is that. So if I could get more information at the same time beside the name, that's an additional way to provide the information to people. And I think, you know, if you consider those surfboard plaques in Waikiki that sort of take you through and talk about each place, this is a similar sort of idea that Lot has. You know, you learn what the tree is and you learn something about it, and you could do it both the physical sign and digitally. Or you can make a fortune selling your upgraded app. You know, like, okay, if you want to learn more, pay $250 to Smart Trees or whatever.
Yeah, I was just thinking the Select Tree website would be a great resource to getting more pictures or just information about those trees, since a lot of that information is online now with that, being able to look it up on there, but thinking like a QR code or something to that website, or like a direction to look there once you know the name of the tree would be helpful.
I think maybe it's worth offline or later talking about getting a group or somebody to start thinking about how do we connect these various information sources to make it easy.
Definitely.
Not only
There's
the volunteers, but for the public. I think a lot of people would be interested to know what trees they're looking at when they walk through the city.
Yeah, I love that, Larry. Yeah, let's definitely talk more about that. I think it's a great idea.
Not mention it's fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. It is fun to know what you're walking around and looking for those little details like Jayme was sharing with us today that really makes a difference with the leaf. That caught my attention too, that, you know, the serrated or like that wavy shape on the edge of leaves really identify different species. So knowing to look for that kind of stuff is fun to apply.
Definitely. Well, I applaud you all for being in this program. Citizen science programs are the best way to get involved in your community because you're actually learning and contributing at the same time. So I really applaud you all for the work that you're doing. It is amazing.
Thank you, folks, for putting this together. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all.
Everybody.
Hey,
Thank you, Jayme.
I have a quick poll for you guys. Now you have seen the first one. Would you like more?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Just depends.
All right. So we'll work on it. Morgan and I will, and Jayme will work on it and keep you guys updated and have more fun as we go along.
Hey, Jayme, come visit Kaimuki. You will be impressed, even more than Kailua. Kailua is irresurrectable. Kaimuki still got chance.
Oh.
Awesome. I love Kaimuki. Yeah, I can't wait to get into it.
Goodbye, everybody.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Jayme.
Thanks,
Bye,
Jayme.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.